Welcome to our Savvy series. I'm Catherine Magana here with Rachel Ivanovich. And we thought we'd have a series on taxes, Rachel's favorite subject.
Yes,
and so,
tax season.
Yes. But we wanted to focus on tax implications for women-owned businesses and just kind of dive a little deep in that area. But before we get started, if you have any specific questions about your financial situation or just want to bounce ideas with us, you can reach us at 760-692-5700. But let's go ahead and dig in on some of the tax breaks for women-owned businesses.
Let's talk strategies for reducing your taxable income, because that is everyone's favorite topic.
Well, it's funny. It's not just tax season. I think it's year-round.
It is. I paused because I was going to say that. I was like, nobody wants to pay more than they have to pay.
Exactly.
So so let's just jump in. People want to know, okay, I started a business. What can I write off? Yeah. And how do I write off my car is probably the first one that I get from a lot of people. So I'm not going to go too deep or get too tax nerdy on you, but you want to keep track of your mileage. Let's just keep it really basic. Keep track of your mileage. There's some great apps out there. I'm not going to name any. Just do your due diligence and track your mileage if you want to write off your car. Second one people ask about, what about my cell phone? What about internet? Okay, you can write that off too. Just make sure that you're tracking how much you're paying for those things. And you can take a percentage. You can't write off all of it necessarily. You have to subtract out a bit for personal. Then people, if they're, this is your first time with your own business, maybe you're a seasoned professional, but health insurance, what do I do there? So you can write off your health insurance as well. Great tax break. And then also people want to know, how do I save for retirement? All of a sudden, I had a 401k, or I had, some sort of a 403b, or guess what? You could set up a simplified employer pension, a SEP IRA, and you can write that off as well and contribute. And you even can contribute all the way up to the due date of your tax return, including extensions, which means you would have until October of the following year to fund that.
And then if you have employees, then there's some other retirement plans to look at, or even depending on how much money you make being a business owner, there's also the solo 401ks. And there's a lot of different ways to do that.
And matches and profit sharing.
Or if you don't want to set up, something right away, you also have IRAs and Roth IRAs and some other ways to save for retirement. But another thing that kind of comes up are there any grants available? And there is the Women-Owned Small Business Federal Contract Program that's available. And basically, there are some requirements. So you have to be a small business according to the SBA size standards. You also have to have at least 51% owned or controlled by women. And I didn't realize this, but there's some additional requirements regarding net worth and income. It basically says be owned and controlled by one or more women, each with a personal net worth less than $850,000. And then another criteria is be owned and controlled by one or more women, each with $400,000 or less in adjustable gross income. So probably good for somebody that's maybe getting started, or just definitely there's some programs and benefits out there. It looks like the federal government their goal is to award at least 5% of all federal contracting dollars to women-owned businesses.
I love hearing that.
There's definitely some benefits there.
And the SBA actually operates, they have offices of women's business ownership, where you can go and get training or counseling. There are a lot of resources there that are provided for free or at low cost that I think people don't know about and should definitely take advantage of.
And then there's mentoring and training. So I think I've been in business for 25 years now. I've in the financial services industry. I think yourself, you've been 20
years in business, 25 in the industry.
Yeah. And so over the years, I have mentored, or also have met other women that have had mentors. And it was interesting. We actually had our Savvy Woman show.
Was it a year ago?
About a year ago. Maybe about almost a year ago now. And we had the Mentors Collective on here. And they have a mentor program that they're putting together. So there's a lot of different resources.
So you can actually become a certified mentor with their newest program.
Oh, can you? Okay, yeah. So there's some, there's ways if you want to be provide mentor and training as you're building your business.
Chambers of Commerce are amazing, and there are lots of different programs that women can take advantage of. And you can meet, women who have been in business for a really long time, or people, baby business owners, and it really helps you feel like you're not alone.
And then there's also women's networking and groups, and also nonprofits. I mean, if you really want to go down that path, there's a lot of resources. We also host a lot of educational workshops and live events and webinars for our Savvy Woman kind of Invest on Purpose. We have our Savvy Woman Retirement by Design, and we also have our Becoming a Seriously Savvy Woman, which is more Money Management 101. So we too also are big advocates, want women to learn about money and finance. So those that are business owners, we have some great resources available as well.
And there's some work, I don't know what you call them, work hubs or work centers where women can come together and help each other and mentor each other. I don't know if your community has any of those, but I would definitely take a look at I don't even know, what do they call them?
I think there's like a community workplace. I think here locally, there's Hera Hubs. I know that's
correct.
Something that
yeah, and it's just a great place for women to come together and support each other. I know they have networking events and programs there. But if you are working out of a home office, back to tax.
Oh, there you go.
Back
Some
to
deductions.
taxes. You can write off part of your home office, and potentially you have a small space that you work that you pay rent for, but maybe you're also working from home. So look at how big the space is, and then you can take a deduction for mortgage interest, property taxes, utilities, HOAs, and so on, in accordance with how big your space is.
And then, like you mentioned earlier, the Chamber of Commerce's, and we're also in a group that meets pretty frequently weekly. But then in that group, we're doing like a Wine Women and Wednesday little gathering. And so I think there's ways to connect. Obviously, at the end of the day, all of us are want to share and be resources for each other, and I think there's a lot of different resources available.
I think the biggest thing when you're in business for yourself is to make sure you're connecting with others so you don't feel by yourself, and get the support that you need. And there's so many resources out there. Find somebody who's gone before you and has succeeded, because they've also probably been mentored, and just ask them about their experience and who mentored them, and what was their experience like, because I'm sure they're really, take them out to lunch, take them to coffee, because we want to share and help each other.
And so for us, we have our kind of Savvy Woman Wealth Management division, where we provide a lot of education for our female clients and prospective clients. But also when we work with our female clients, it's just sometimes it's a little different in how we're connecting. We may have a few more meetings, and there's a lot of education that's involved. And so we're big advocates for helping women learn about money and investing, and making them feel comfortable about having conversations about money. But what's also interesting is some couples that come in, men and women, the husbands want their wives to learn, and sometimes they want them to learn more than the wives want to learn.
I think it's refreshing.
I know, but it's nice, and I really admire those that are trying to inspire their spouses to be a part of the conversation. Because at the end of the day, you should be involved and know. And I think we really want to make it accessible and easy to understand. And we don't expect you to learn every little detail if you don't want to. But I do think opening those money conversations is important.
And as you say, there are no secrets.
Yes, there are no secrets. And we have access to all the same information. We have access to financial planning and investing. And it's just what resources are you having, and how are you applying it to your life?
Exactly.
Well, I think that concludes for today. If you have any questions, or if you would like to get with us, you can reach us at 760-692-5700. That's 760-692-5700. And thank you for getting savvy with us about your finances. And remember to savvy up. Please stay tuned for important regulatory disclosures.
Savvy Women Wealth Management is an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry and how we may be able to assist. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. As always, please remember investing involves risk and possible loss of principal capital. Tax considerations presented may not be appropriate for every individual circumstance. A tax professional should be consulted before making any decisions about your tax liability.